Hello, Synagogue Emanu-El. In the past week, a number of congregants have called up asking the same question, and so I thought I'd take the time to answer the question not just to them, but to all of you. The question has been something like, one of my parents died in the month of February, but this month I didn't receive a yahrzeit notice, and their name isn't in the scroll. Why not? The answer is a little bit of a detailed one from the Jewish perspective, and it's also very Jewish in another way. The thing to know is that every 3 or so years we celebrate in the Hebrew calendar a leap year. The Torah tells us that Passover is called Chag HaAviv, the spring holiday, and we need to keep it in the springtime. As you know, the holidays every year shift around on the secular calendar because a lunar year is actually 11 days shorter than a secular one. And so, those every few years, we add an entire month to the Jewish calendar to push Passover back into the spring. When this happens, the months move around a little bit. And so what happens is that month when a person died, in the month of February, Adar, moves from February to late February and early March. That's what's happening this year. This little quirk of the calendar comes because the month that we add is another month of Adar, the month we're currently in. And so in a year like this one, a leap year, you end up with the first Adar and the second Adar. The rabbis have many long debates as to which is the proper Adar, which is the correct one, the one that is celebrated every year, because it affects things like observing a yahrzeit. Ultimately, the rabbis come up with 4 different opinions, a very Jewish approach to this problem. The first opinion is that you should just observe the yahrzeit twice, once in the first month, once in the second month. Another opinion is that because we don't want to prolong a person's mourning, that the first yahrzeit should be celebrated in Adar Rishon, in the first Adar, but all the others in the second Adar. Then there's a third group of rabbis that says any yahrzeit in the month of Adar in a non-leap year should be celebrated in the first Adar. And the last group of rabbis says that any death that occurs in a regular year in the month of Adar should be celebrated in the second Adar, because that is the one that's closer to Passover, when Purim is celebrated, and that is the quote-unquote real Adar. Ultimately, there's no definitive opinion, and so different communities take on the different traditions, the ones that are right for them. At Emanu-El, the way that we've calculated the yahrzeits is that if a parent of yours died in the month of Adar during a non-leap year, their yahrzeit is commemorated in the second Adar during a leap year. So you can rest assured that you will be getting those yahrzeit notices and that they will be included in the March scroll. And if you don't have a yahrzeit in Adar, in the months of February or March, then this is just some really good information to know about why the Jewish calendar works the way it does, why we talk about the high holidays being early or late in a given year. It all has to do with where we are in the cycle of the leap year for the Jewish calendar.